Irisviel von Einzbern. Irisviel von Einzbern, Irisviel von Einzbern, is a homunculus. She is the wife of Kiritsugu Amiya and the mother of Irisviel von Einzbern. For the Fourth War, Jubstachite von Einzbern decided to create a humanoid shape as the Grail vessel that has a consciousness and can be independent to defend itself from harm. He used the archetype base of Justies Lisrich von Einzbern to create Irisviel, thus referred to as a Justies late model. The one who became the mother body of the ultimate homunculus among all Einzbern homunculi in the past, she is the only one who experienced motherhood and gave birth to a successor. Kiritsugu Amiya first met Irisviel when she was created inside a tube. Through his interactions with her, he found her to be useless, and Kiritsugu expressed his frustration to Jubstachite regarding Irisviel's lack of understanding towards protecting herself and interacting in society. In response, Jubstachite decided to prove Irisviel's durability by casting her into the wastes of the Einzbern forests. Disgusted with Jubstachite's actions, Kiritsugu rescued her and personally began educating Irisviel about the current society and the modern world so that she could develop a sense of self. Her rapid development and unexpected insights toward mankind surprised Kiritsugu, and they gradually fell in love with one another. However, Kiritsugu knew that their love would end in tragedy, as he would have to sacrifice her for his ideals. For his sake, Irisviel wanted to conceive a child for him so that he would have a new hope after the war. Because the plan of conceiving Irisviel was decided after Irisviel was coined, her pregnancy of Irisviel was not much of a natural development, since it was an additional role imposed onto her that she originally was not supposed to have. An exception among Einzbern homunculi whose functions are determined when they are designed. It was due to Jubstachite's judgment that it would be more efficient to nurse a child rather than produce a homunculus. Thus, despite being a homunculus, Irisviel had a human woman's experience of giving birth to and raising a child, similar to herself, as a mother, and this had a greater influence over her feelings than Jubstachite expected. Made to be a puppet with no desires, she managed to find happiness in her existence when she gave birth to Irisviel. Furthermore, 9 years is a long time to maintain a relationship with a human. Before her, there were no precedents of an Einzbern-made homunculus with such a colorful and eccentric personality. She was the first Einzbern homunculus to be treated like a human being and learn human emotions to such an extent. Originally an existence that surpassed humans solely through the functions of mind and body, her personality did not collapse even after going through an uncommon development, and she managed to attain self-consciousness without any feelings of inferiority, just like any human being. Appearance. As a homunculus of the Einzbern, Irisviel possesses a genetic resemblance to her ancestor, Justies Lisrich von Einzbern, who formed the core of the Holy Grail when the Holy Grail Wars began. Her long silver hair and red eyes are distinctive traits of Einzbern homunculi, such that Tosaka Tokiomi recognizes right away that she is a member of the Einzbern family. Because of her striking appearance, she tends to stand out, despite her attempts to dress informally. Irisviel dresses in long white gowns trimmed in gold in the Einzbern castle, but wears more functional clothing when she goes to Japan. Her clothing choice, though considerably less formal than her usual garb, is still considered by ordinary people to be high-end fashion. Irisviel wears a burgundy blouse with a brooch, a white skirt, thigh-high white boots, and black tights. In cold weather, she also wears an elegant fur-trimmed white coat and a white fur cap. Personality. Irisviel is quite peculiar compared to other Einzbern homunculi. She was the first to have received the same treatment as a human and the first to have human emotions. Furthermore, she has interacted with humans for 9 years and developed such colorful and eccentric mental activity. She was originally a blank slate that did not possess any human qualities. Her physical and mental capabilities surpasses those of a human, so they did not fail her during her exceptional growth, allowing her to gain self-awareness and emotions. Her knowledge of human emotion and human experiences is limited due to having lived for only 9 years without ever leaving the Einzbern castle and only having Kiritsugu to teach her about the world. This is in contrast with her inherent knowledge and reason, the crystallization of the Einzbern's wisdom accumulated over millennia, that comes with the format of a homunculus. The result is her having both the elegance of an upper-class lady and the innocent nature of a child. Homunculi usually have their functions determined during their design process, but Irisviel developed the plan to conceive Ilia after she was created. Jubstachite decided to allow a special case in that she was to hold multiple functions different from the plan, allowing her to both give birth and rear Ilia. This allowed Irisviel to experience raising a child like a human mother, affecting her character in a way that Jubstachite could not have predicted. Before meeting Kiritsugu, Irisviel had no emotion nor any sense of self-preservation beyond ensuring that she would survive as the Holy Grail. After Kiritsugu taught her about the modern world, she developed a sense of self. She loves Kiritsugu Amiya, her husband, and Irisviel von Einzbern, her daughter. Despite his typically restrained attitude, Kiritsugu calls her Iri out of affection. Though she acts as one who is sheltered and innocent, Irisviel displays a mature attitude and understanding towards Kiritsugu and the agony he suffers, as well as the knowledge that she will likely die in the war because of his actions. She also tries to present Saber with a better impression of Kiritsugu, since Saber feels her master's cold nature derives from his belief she is unsatisfactory as a servant because she is female. She approved of Kiritsugu's ideal and vowed to sacrifice herself for its sake, but the truth is that she never actually understood that ideal. She simply wanted to walk the same path together with the person she loved, but, in order not to burden Kiritsugu, she decided to behave as a woman who would die for that same ideal rather than just a woman that would die for her husband. Although she wished for Kiritsugu and Saber to keep winning and end the fighting, she had little desire towards achieving the third magic, which was the Einzbern family's ambition. She enjoys driving, but she is not very skilled. Kiritsugu bought her a toy, a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL, famous for being Japan's Yujiro Ishihara WP's favorite car, to educate her about modern science. It is a bit classical in terms of education because part of the reason it was chosen was Irisviel's own taste. While it was a custom model ordered by Kiritsugu, it lacked any substantial modifications. It was later stored in the Einzbern mansion after the Fourth War, happily becoming Ilya's toy. Abilities. The magecraft that she inherited involves the creation and forging of matter, as well as its applications. Her grade as a magus surpasses that of Kiritsugu, with magic circuits that far outclass a normal magus. She was branded with a standardized reverse-type magic crest. Because of her nature as a homunculus, she does not require food so long as she has a supply of magical energy and she has the ability to shut down any of her 5 senses at will. However, her abilities are ill-suited for the direct combat required in the Holy Grail War, as the Einzbern's methodology involves avoiding conflict rather than self-defense, to survive than to fight. They would normally prioritize escape, disguise and negotiations over fighting back. She is also proficient at healing magecraft, although she is also able to use simple healing spells by sending out her magical energy. She can also scry through a crystal ball. Her weapons are thin, long, and flexible metallic wires which she can shape however she wants through Einzbern alchemy, which forge, create, and use matter. Chanting the incantation Shape ist Leben Shape, conceive life, Irisviel pours magical energy through the wires, which transmutes them into a giant wire mesh eagle as a makeshift homunculus, capable of attacking targets. She may also use her weapon to immobilize her target. Irisviel's other skills include driving a car, which she learned from Kiritsugu. Though she is capable of operating a car, she tends to drive in a haphazard fashion as a result of failing to understand traffic laws and street signs and from treating a car as a toy rather than a vehicle. Furthermore, she initially learned to drive only in the confined grounds of the Einzbern Castle in Germany, thus she finds driving on the long stretches of highway in Fuyuki City to be exciting, which increases her dangerous driving habits. She displayed inability to operate modern technology such as cellular phones to communicate information to Kiritsugu while he was remotely monitoring a situation. This may be due to her cutting off her sense of touch in order to control her powers, making it difficult for her to perform everyday tasks such as getting dressed or holding keys. Vessel of the Grail. Irisviel was developed as a vessel of the Holy Grail capable of defending the Grail from harm. Although Irisviel's homunculus body is unmistakably organic, the inorganic Holy Grail was broken down and fused with her organs. Compared to Irisviel, she is a less refined model. As each servant dies, its energy would flow into her artificial body. When 4 servants have died, her body would be destroyed and give birth to the Holy Grail. With Avalon stored inside her, it delayed the effects of her losing her functions as a human being.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.